right, thanks for staying tuned. Before we went on the break, Femi, you were shaking your head.
I wasn't shaking my head.
Oh, okay. Okay, so okay, you were nodding.
Well,
Maybe if you were nodding, then yeah, no. Yes, if you were nodding, you talked about while we were on break. You talked about citizen security.
Yes.
What did you mean by that?
Well, I believe so well that all Nigerians will surely agree with me, and the former DIG too will agree with me that we have some super well-talented police officers in Nigeria. Oh,
definitely the DIG will agree with that, yes.
And at the same time, we have some officers that you just want to pray that either, oh God, or whatsoever, that I don't want to come across this situation again. And we do not want to see this ugly situation tomorrow.
Okay.
And where am I driving at is this? We have what we call the security customer service and just normal customer service. But the fact is this, are we going to see a professional security customer service tomorrow? Because tension will be boiling if you're not being allowed to move from one place to another to go and vote. And again, it now depends on how do you talk back to this member of public and how the member of public process
and that's what you meant by security customer service.
Because it will boil down to a stage whereby everybody just want to do the right thing. Again, are we on the same line to understand each other? Because the security want to use their authority, and the member of public again want to say, I have my rights.
Yes, something else I wanted to ask. Are people aware of security evacuation procedures? We're not saying anything is going to happen, but you find out that in normal organizations, there's a fire drill. People know what to do if anything is going to happen. They know what to do. Looking at, and I keep going back to voter education, I can't say it enough. I think that people, we just walk into elections and then walk back out without actually fully understanding the process.
Well,
has that been addressed?
Well, I don't really think it's been addressed publicly. Maybe internally within the security forces, they might have addressed such. However, when it comes to tomorrow, it should be well known to them that let us have maybe like a sign showing if any event, please follow here, or this is the sign for this is the sign for that, or this is the assembly point for evac situation and stuff like that. But again, you mentioned a good point. Just like you said, we are learning. Perhaps if it's not part of it this year, maybe 4 years' time, they had to include it into their program that, okay, let us start drilling and start training on evac situation if it happens. Because we never can tell it might and it might not. Just like what happened recently, and it will always happen, no matter what we do.
Yeah.
Now, DIG, I come to you, and this is part of our winding down process because we're finally winding this down. And it's to ask, people always say that there's a psychology to talking to security agents in order to get the kind of response that is required. That you can ask the same, two different people can ask the same question of the same security agent and get two different responses. By that I mean, you get to the place, officer, money, no, well done. I don't know if you are permitting us to, and so on and so. That's one way. There's another way of saying that, money. And when they say, please come. Where are you going to say, why are you calling me? Why should I come? Why are you questioning me? What did I do? And so on. Is this true, first of all? And then please, for the purpose of the voters tomorrow, because tomorrow is one of the days when there's mass interaction between security agents and members of the public. How are both supposed to behave? Please.
Thank you for that beautiful question. I even wanted to throw light on the earlier issue of policemen preventing people to go and cast their votes. It is not going to be so. The policemen that are involved in this election exercise have been briefed sufficiently. They have been trained. And this is not the first time we are engaging them in this type of assignments. We had scattered elections, and these men took part in all these elections. So this is not new to them. Besides, they have been trained to be cautious, to be respectful, to obey human rights. So there's no policeman that will come out tomorrow and be harsh on any voter. Let me tell you, with the benefit of hindsight, in 2015, when I was in charge of elections in some, I think, Kano or so, we had issues where People will be in a vehicle, they are going from one village to the other to vote. Once we identify that they are actually going to cast their vote, we detail one of the policemen to escort them and hand them over to the policemen at the polling point there, so that they are allowed to cast their votes. So no policeman is going to stop any voter from proceeding to his voting points. So, and I want to believe this time around, that same courtesy that we accorded to voters is going to take place this time around. So please, voters should not fear. They should not be intimidated by the presence of security men, especially policemen that they will see around. Instead, if they don't even know, they should stop the policeman asking, please, where is the next voting place? Where can I? And then I'm sure the policemen will gladly and happily direct them to where they are supposed to go and cast their votes.
Okay, that sounds quite reassuring. I guess it sounds. Tubosun Abolari, I think I should come to you for this one. Tomorrow, there are two sides to this. There's the pre, and then there's the post. And then, of course, you have the center where you are going to do the voting. Earlier in the day, those who have been following the program will see the demonstration of the 7-step process that you are expected to go through during the election nearing itself. And then, of course, as the Lagos State CP did point out, if you are going to wait behind, you are not going to wait in the polling area. You wait at some distance when they are ready to do the announcement, the collation, the announcement of the results, and so on. They will indicate to you through the security men how you go about it and so on, so that there's no crowd and all that. Now, the question to you, Tubosu, is this. When you have, and I'm still coming to that because someone mentioned the issue of crowd control. There'll be more people at some areas than in some other areas. How are the security agencies supposed to handle this, and what should people look out for if they are part of this kind of crowd?
Okay, let me just clarify one thing. I think with the process of how things are run at the polling unit, every political party have a representative at every polling unit called agent. This agent is somebody you have trusted to protect your interest. So the issue of crowding around the polling unit shouldn't have come up in the first place. You are supposed to cast your vote as a voter and go home and leave your trusted agent to look into how your vote, your mandate is going to be protected. You see, everybody on this platform this evening has mentioned something about emotion running high. The only thing we need to do about that is to be proactive about it. Let everybody send it to the ear of their family. You are a voter. When you finish voting, do not congregate. Go back to your house. Your registered and accredited agent is there to protect your interest. I think gathering around polling unit, if we have, like you earlier analyzed, if you have 73, half of the 73 parties represented there, we already have 35 people crowding. It's a crowd. Controlling 35 people is a crowd, not to talk of when every voters have to wait behind to ensure that their vote is counted. So for safety reason, I will not support, and I don't think INEC and all the security agencies will support the issue of staying back and congregating around polling units. I think the best thing to ensure that lives and properties are safe is to ensure that everybody goes back to the comfort and safety of their homes as soon as you finish casting your vote.
All right, that's a piece of advice which I hope that it makes sense. It stands to logic. People might be willing to follow that tomorrow, especially if the process is seen to be stable and transparent. People may then feel no need to do that. So as we're winding this down, let me come to Mr. Wonuga. Mr. Wonuga, encapsulation here. Final words. Tomorrow, we're expected to go out there, go with your PVC, no touchlights needed, no extra cash needed, no international passports or any other such documents, just your PVC and yourself.
Yes.
Maybe a bottle of water in case you are walking 1 or 2 miles, in order to go and come back. What should a typical Nigerian voter look out for, very briefly, to assure himself that the process is transparent, and so that he can do what Tubosu just mentioned, which is vote and go home and wait for the results?
It's so simple. Whether it's a fresh voter or somebody who has been voting previously, it's just about following a procedure. That's why we have laws. Now, accreditation comes first. For instance, like someone mentioned here, initially it's difficult to satisfy people. In the old order, they will say, oh, after accreditation, go home. I assume now maybe after accreditation is stay. Now, if you've finished accreditation and it's time for you to vote, vote and leave. Because I think it's just a function of common sense. When you stay there, you ask yourself, what value are you adding to the electoral process? What do you intend to achieve by staying there? Because you now realize that, okay, this is something, no matter the number of registered voters, let's even forget about the country being 180 million or whatever it is. Let's even say we have just 36 million voters. And just for purposes of theory, that each state has a 1 million. The moment you start there, you know you're amassing. It becomes a game of numbers. 1, 2, 3, before you know it, 50. Just like they say, little drops of water make a mighty ocean. You now realize that you're staying there is senseless because you are not adding value to the electoral process. If some people had clocked the place, naturally you don't even have the access to vote in the first instance. Why don't you just take the common sense route, vote and leave?
Okay, but in the spirit of telling people to vote and leave,
Yes.
For those who are watching the program earlier, we actually have an animation going through the 7 steps that it will take you from when you get to the polling unit what to do. So it's a good idea to have a look at it, and then we can just discuss it, so that everybody who is coming out tomorrow is coming out as an informed voter and is able to go through the process as quickly as possible. If you can have the animation. Okay, there you go. So that's step 1, and I believe that is yourself arriving at the INEC official, and that's you arriving. And then you have step 2. He directs you to request for your PVC, to confirm your card, like that, as you can see there. Step 3, he requests for the PVC to confirm that your name and details are on the voters register. So nicely give him your PVC to do that, him or her. And he or she will then apply indelible ink to the finger you present. The presiding officer stamps and signs the endorsed date at the back of the ballot paper, and then you walk off. He or she will then direct you to the voting cubicle, where you have to vote in secret. That's step 5. And then you use and so after that, you're coming out, you drop that ballot paper into the box, as you can see, like that. That's step 6. And step 7, you leave the polling unit, or you can choose to wait in an orderly and peaceful manner. So those are the 7 steps for you.
Now, Femi, you have the last word.
Wow. I love the quick preview of what I saw just now. But remember what you said. Vote and leave. Now over there, vote or.
Yeah, that's it.
That is
you
your
can still
choice.
do it.
Yeah,
So you have a choice.
But you have to be orderly about it and not in the...
My advice for Nigerians is, please go out over there, cast your vote, make it real, and after that, go home. There's no point staying.
God bless you.
If you don't have anything doing around there, go home, sit down there, eat your good food, and wait for the good results.
I like that. I like that. That's motivation. Yes, that's motivation to return home. I mean, if you know there's good food waiting at home, there's motivation to go home. Now, we're winding this down. We want to thank our guests who have been with us for this very interesting, very important conversation we've had on security. Let me start by thanking Mr. Sonia Woduga, who, even though he's a legal practitioner, has shown that years and years of living in Lagos has made him more of a security expert than most lawyers would.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, Femi Aratukwale is a security expert who is actually based in the United Kingdom, but is visiting home. At this point in time.
This is my home.
Yes, and we are having a lecture, so you're here to prepare.
My home.
And then, of course, in our Abuja studios, we have Deputy Inspector General of Police, retired Deputy Inspector General of Police, Dan Azumi. I hope I got it right this time. Dan Azumi. And of course, I got it right this time. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for joining us on the program tonight. And of course, Tubosun Abolari, thank you so much for being our guest on the program.
Yeah, but before we go, I mean, our belt is over, but the Verdict Studio will open after the news at 10 and will continue till midnight, and then regular programming will resume. Thereafter, the Verdict Studio opens again, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, keeping you updated with everything that will transpire tomorrow.
Remember that you can still send in your pictures with your PVC, or even, yes, indeed, with your PVC. Let's know how you're going about your voting. Use the hashtag, what was the hashtag?
Hashtag
the verdict
and
or
hashtag
2019 elections.
That's it.
Keep it real and let us know what you're doing.
And so, it's in that, I thought that would be what you would have ended with.
Yeah, keep safe.
Keep it safe.
Yes, stay safe.
Keep it safe.
Above everything else. Yeah.
And we want to thank you so much for being with us. Tomorrow is D-Day. It's less than 2 hours away. That's the day itself. But we're talking about something in the region of about 10 hours or so until voting is expected to start across the country. So we want to wish Nigeria the best of luck tomorrow as we vote in the presidential and national assembly elections. On behalf of Ijoma, NT, and our guests, thank you for being with us. And